Thanks for tuning in to Capital City News, your connection to Salt Lake City government. I'm your host, Poonam Kumar. On this week's show, we'll be talking to Palmer DePaulis, co-chair of Salt Lake City's Homeless Services Commission, and our History Minute is about Dolly Dimples. But first, let's start with our legislative update and look back. On Tuesday evening, the Salt Lake City Council unanimously approved a general fund budget of $261 million. Highlights include added services related to homelessness, reorganized economic development, and one-time funds for new streets. For more information about the city's budget, visit slccouncil.com. Mike Brown was recently appointed as Salt Lake City's new police chief. Brown, who has served for 25 years in the Salt Lake City Police Department, will focus on community policing and building relationships within the neighborhoods. The council also interviewed and unanimously approved the appointment of Laura Fritz as the director of the city's new Economic Development Department. Council members discussed incentives and Utah business culture with Laura before approving her appointment. The Salt Lake City Fire Department and elected city leaders honored residents from the Poplar Grove neighborhood who participated in a water rescue when a vehicle crashed into the Jordan River in 2014. A plaque was unveiled on the newly finished bridge where the incident occurred. The plaque honors the majority of the citizens who helped overturn the vehicle, yet remain anonymous after working together to make a positive impact in their community. The Downtown Farmers Market has kicked off its opening season and is celebrating its 25 years of providing opportunities for the community to support local. The market, with more than 250 vendors, offers a unique variety of farmers, growers, bakeries, local artisans, and more. For details, visit slcfarmersmarket.org. The city hosted a grand opening and ribbon cutting for the new Fairmont Park Playground with Mayor Jackie Biskupski and council members Lisa Adams and Derek Kitchen. The park offers a variety of amenities to the community, including a skate park, quality multi-purpose fields, pavilions, and now 2 playgrounds. To learn more, visit slcgov.com/cityparks. Residents gathered to help address homelessness by participating in a series of workshops aimed at helping find solutions and providing ways to refine criteria for potential service locations. Workshops offered guided exercises as well as opportunities to engage in conversation with city officials, police officers, service providers, and county representatives. The Homeless Services Commission has been working tirelessly the last couple of years to address homelessness in Salt Lake City. Today we'll talk to Palmer DePaulis, co-chair of the commission, to learn more about what's going on and how we're addressing these issues.
The task for this year's work is to select and prioritize our highest criteria for how the shelters or resource centers really should be providing services, and to geographically look at places within the city, we also hope within the county, where new facilities could be sited according to the model that we adopted last year, which is a much smaller resource center or shelter. I think the new VOA facility is the kind of model that we're really looking for, and that is something that does fit within a neighborhood of businesses or residences, and it is something that serves a smaller population where more intensive work could really go on, where the homeless could really be helped, rather than just an aggregation of people of large numbers where all you can do is kind of keep the peace, so to speak. So we're looking at models like that, like the YWCA, how it functions. There are actually over 40 facilities, resource centers now operating within the city that really operate within this kind of a model. For example, Odyssey House. Odyssey House does drug treatment in their resource center, and they're on South Temple, and no one seems to have a real issue with that. So the idea is to paint a whole new picture of what this could really look like when it's functioning well. And that would mean primarily we wouldn't have the congregation of people on the street. We wouldn't have the intersection with drug traffic. We wouldn't have people just coming down to socialize with the people who are standing around. The idea would be to have people within the facilities really receiving treatment and getting on with their lives so that we can really do something good for the homeless and something that would not be antagonistic to a neighborhood. We hope that we will be finished by the fall. It's a very, very tight turnaround. There's two reasons for that. One is what's happening now at the shelter is not sustainable. It has to change, and as soon as possible. Secondly, we have a legislative commitment that we have to provide for them some sites, potential sites that we may be looking at in order for us to receive the next round of funding from the state. So we're on a very, very tight timeline, and we're trying to go as fast as we can, but at the same time, we need to be thoughtful and careful. This needs to be a good public process. We need to have people buy into it, and hopefully, even though there are always critics in anything you do, we hope that we will be able to make sure that even those that are critical can see what we're doing and how it will help both the homeless and help the city. Okay, so the city hosts a website, and it's the Salt Lake City website that you can easily get the address for. And on the website, the Homeless Site Selection Commission has all of its information and how you can get involved. But most importantly, in the next few weeks, we will be holding 4 public engagement sessions so the public can come and actually participate in some interactive dialogue with trained members, trained facilitators, if you will, that will be able to help us define the right criteria that we need for services and also prioritize those criteria and also help us to create some empathy for what the homeless are really experiencing. And from that, the next commission meeting, which is on June 22nd, the commission will take all that information, kind of solidify it, and that will help them in their next step forward, which is to direct the people that know how to deal with real estate and the city at large to see if there are sites that might qualify for these new facilities.
Next up is our History Minute.
In 1909, the Salt Lake Herald-Republican newspaper ran an unusual contest to bolster readership. They hired a young woman and disguise artist named Dolly Dimples and offered a reward for her capture within a 2-week span. If you had the current day's paper when you spotted her and spoke a code phrase, you'd get $50. If you happened to have your receipt for a subscription to the paper, that day's issue, and the catchphrase, you'd get $500. She would roam the city in disguises and then write about her exploits in the next day's paper. After 2 weeks in Salt Lake, the prize went unclaimed. The promotion went so well for the Herald-Republican that the Ogden Standard got in on it too. But that's where things went awry for Dolly Dimples and her managers. After a woman won the prize in Ogden, Dimples and her managers moved on to Los Angeles, but they were greeted by police who arrested them on felony charges. The winner of the Ogden Prize only did so because Dolly's handlers pointed her out for a cut of the winnings. The Republican Herald printed the story of the arrest and offered a new reward, this time for anyone with evidence that Dolly Dimples had run a crooked contest. The evidence never arrived, and an Ogden jury eventually declared Dolly Dimples and her cohorts not guilty in March of 1910.
That's it for this episode of Capital City News, your connection to Salt Lake City government. We hope you tune in next time to stay up to date on all the latest. For SLC TV, I'm Poonam Kumar.